Today we are going to be discussing flexibility. The assessments that we're going to be doing today are the Canadian Trunk Flexion Test, the YMCA Sit and Reach Test, the Chair Sit and Reach Test, and the Thomas Test. Prior to beginning the assessments, a warm-up is required. This consists of a 5 to 10 minute aerobic warm-up. The assessment that we're going to start with is the Canadian Trunk Flexion Test. This assessment measures hamstring and lower back flexibility. Keep in mind that the knees should not bend during this assessment and that one hand should not be leading. One should be placed on top of the other and they should remain aligned. For this test, ensure that shoes are removed. You start by sitting with your feet flat against the box. You then reach forward and exhale as you reach. Hold this position for 2 seconds. This is a table used to classify flexibility for the Canadian Trunk Flexion Test. This test is scored in centimeters. Repeat the assessment and take the average of the two scores. For this particular box that we used, you will need to subtract 3 centimeters from your measurements. My score was 33.5 centimeters, which is classified as good for my age and gender. The next assessment we will be discussing is the YMCA Sit and Reach Test. This assessment measures hamstring and lower back flexibility. For this test, you need to place a yardstick on the floor with a strip of tape on the 15-inch mark. And just like the previous assessment, keep in mind that the knees should not bend and that one hand should not be leading. Take off your shoes and sit on the floor. Place your feet on the edge of the tape with feet 10 to 12 inches apart. Reach forward while exhaling and touch the yardstick. Hold this position for 2 seconds. This is the table used to classify flexibility for the YMCA Sit and Reach Test. This test is scored in inches. Repeat the assessment and take best of the two scores. My score was 19 inches, which is classified as average for my age and gender. The next assessment we will be discussing is the Chair Sit and Reach Test. This is used in the older populations and measures hamstring flexibility. Keep in mind that you need a second person to assist with this assessment to hold the ruler at the edge of the foot. For this test, you need a chair that is 17 inches in height and placed against the wall. There is no need to remove shoes. You start by sitting on the edge of the chair and extend one leg with the foot dorsiflexed. Keep the other foot on the floor and keep the head in alignment. Exhale while reaching forward and hold for 2 seconds. This test is scored in inches. The way this assessment is scored is based off of the distance the fingers travel in relation to the big toe. If the fingers do not pass, it is a negative score. If the fingers touch the toe but do not pass, it is 0. If the fingers pass, it is a positive score. The last assessment we will be discussing is the Thomas Test. This assessment measures hip flexor flexibility. For this test, you lie supine on the floor and then bring your knee to your chest. Then you switch legs. Focus on the leg that is on the floor. If it remains in contact with the floor, the hip flexors are flexible. If it bends, the hip flexors are inflexible. I am classified as flexible on both sides.